What is up, everyone? Hope you guys having a great day today. You're watching On Air with Nick Driver podcast here on YouTube. Guys, please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Ring that bell, and you'll be notified of all my upcoming video releases. Guys, we are going to jump on into today's video clip. And, you know, it brings up a very interesting point in our current society. Recently, Andrew Schultz and Ryan Clark have addressed their public disagreement, you know, and this goes back to really comedy and culture, media fairness, and, you know, just an overall look at really the hypocrisy when it comes to some of these media outlets and how some of these people that have these different podcasts and different forums and these different shows like on ESPN and, you know, really across all networks, MSNBC, Fox News, this is something that kind of goes across all media outlets and, you know, really shows the hypocrisy of people getting angry at certain jokes. Now, in this particular clip, it comes from Ryan Clark being upset about Andrew Schultz making a joke about black women. And, you know, Ryan Clark really probably wasn't the only one that got upset about this situation. However, he has a pretty big platform, so therefore his voice is heard a little bit more than, you know, some of the people that might be upset about it but don't have as many people that follow him. So with that being said, I thought Andrew Schultz pulled up a really great point. Now, Ryan Clark's outrage has to do with Andrew Schultz's joke about black women, which Ryan Clark said was disrespectful to black women. But Andrew Schultz brings up a very good point. Well, if Ryan Clark was that upset about black women being disrespected, then why would Ryan Clark host athletes and other hosts and guests on Ryan Clark's podcast and Ryan Clark shows that are charged with against black women? So why would Ryan Clark be upset about a joke somebody made as opposed to hosting people on his show that has actually physically assaulted black women? That is what today's video is about. So let's jump on in to the clip, guys. Hope you guys are having a wonderful and beautiful day today. Let's jump into it.
A really big platform, right. And your platform is, I'm not telling you guys anything you don't already know, but it's influential. And like, I think people watch it and any kind of, I think you can like start, I don't want to say start, but like you definitely have influence for sure. And like your opinions matter.
So how do you deal with people reacting to your jokes or to the things you say harshly? Do you feel like there's, we good? Do you feel like you always have to respond to those things?
No. I almost never respond. I probably should address certain things more because sometimes people can like, I'm not saying you guys do this, but like, I'm sure you guys experience, like people just make shit up. Like they'll just say, like, I can't imagine what they're doing with you guys about, they're like, oh, but this person doesn't like this, all this other nonsense. And you guys are in the group chat just going, where do these people get this shit? And then it's like, well, it makes money. They make videos and then they get paid off the videos. That's what it is. So usually I don't like, maybe I should address trends better. Like Charlemagne is the best at it. Like Charlemagne is just like, he can like address something without even acknowledging the person that he's addressing. So they get no clout. They get no response, but the trend, the thing that's out there in the world gets the response from him. But he's also just the best to ever do it at talking into a microphone. So like that's like, I think the most sophisticated way of like going about it. I got to probably get better at that. But like my initial reaction is going, like, I'll tell you what you want to know what my initial reaction is, which I think is kind of unfair.
Here we go. So we are getting to the clip of actually what Andrew Schultz is going to react to and actually say on this one. I did think that last part was pretty interesting to leave in here because this is currently what we're dealing with in the internet climate when it comes to people actually just saying stuff and making up things about people that's not even accurate. But then again, people do get paid off of their videos and they get ad revenue off of how many clicks they get. So I do understand the actual game, but I did think this right here was very telling when it comes to the actual topic of the video. So let's get it.
But my initial reaction was when I saw you guys talking about it, and I was like, okay, he wants to protect Black women, and this is very important. And then I looked on every one of the episodes that you had to see if there was any guys on here that beat up Black women. Mm-hmm. And there were. And I looked to see if you guys addressed it on the pod.
Oh, wow.
And you didn't.
Okay.
Now, I also saw you guys had the episode with DeAndre's mom talking about domestic violence. So I was like, okay, this is good and this is powerful, this is important. But my knee-jerk reaction was, man, I get a whole section that's not even part of an episode. Mm-hmm. And these guys who we know have actually, like, for like a joke, and these guys who have actually like hurt Black women and convicted, not allegations, because I don't go off of allegations, I go off of conviction. Yeah. Everybody can get an allegation, it means nothing. And then these guys, they don't get anything. So in that moment, I was like, this feels like a clout play. It doesn't feel like the highest priority is protecting these women.
Right.
So that was my initial reaction.
So I'm gonna say this.
Yeah.
We have had people on this show that have been convicted for domestic violence that have pulled it out of the show.
That have pulled it out of the show.
That I have asked about it.
Oh, and then they're like, I don't want it on the show.
Yeah, and I do, because people come on our show voluntarily.
Of course.
I do ask those questions in respectful ways. Right? I'm not, hey man, you're a woman beater, but I will say, sure, like in one of the instances that was pulled, I said, look, you know, you were convicted of something that no man wants attached to his name.
Amen.
And they answered it. We talked to their people. I was like, man, the answer was good. Like, and they pulled it out of the show. So we've had that happen. We also had an instance with one of our guests who was talking about assault, and he talked about it in a way that almost said that, okay, how do we blame the women? And I addressed that as well. Yeah. So as far as for me, I try to address it in every opportunity that I get a chance to with them. Yeah. I try to ask them.
All right, guys. So with that being said, here's the issue with society. They both bring up good points here. And, you know, Ryan Clark is a very sensitive person. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I do not mean that in a negative way. I just mean he's very, there's just some people that are very, very sensitive. I've seen some of the stuff that Ryan Clark addresses and some of the beefs that he's gotten into over the years. And, you know, that doesn't particularly mean it's a bad thing or a good thing. It just means he's a very, very in touch emotionally with himself as opposed to, you know, I would say one thing about Ryan Clark, it's very knee-jerk reaction. It's very like pop, oh, you know, and he just goes after, he does stuff. He just, you know, it's really kind of crazy to me that Ryan Clark would even get upset at Andrew Schultz over a joke. But that's where society is at the moment. You know, Andrew Schultz didn't say the N-word, nothing like that. Everybody needs to lighten up, in my personal opinion. Everybody needs to joke around, have fun. When we have these standards in society, what you can't say, what you can't say, you can't say this, you can't do this, you can do this, you can do this, you can't do this, you can't. It just keeps everybody walking on eggshells. It just keeps everyone looking at the world going, oh, am I okay if I say this? Am I going to get fired if I say that? I mean, there's protected people in society from any source of jokes. Example, and you guys know who those groups are, and it kind of comes down to that's kind of unfair to everyone that's living in a free society. However, that is a social, you know, norm when it comes to these types of things. So I would look at it and I would say, hey, Andrew Schultz definitely checkmated Ryan Clark when it comes to this particular topic. Now, it's good for Ryan Clark to address these types of things, but you can't full-blown go after somebody and express hatred, not hatred, but like a visceral reaction to someone over a joke, especially a comedian, and then, you know, not look inside and clean your own house, so to speak. Ryan Clark is on TV every day. He's on his podcast. He does a lot of, you know, things within the sports world that I think is really great. I like Ryan Clark. I like Andrew Schultz. But the whole idea to have outrage over a joke, most people in the world don't care, man, about jokes. And, you know, Ryan Clark is just in a place in the world where he is a very privileged person, makes a lot of money. He's worked a lot. He's worked very hard though to get where he's at. But the idea that, you know, you're upset about a joke. I mean, bro, most people are out here in the world working, driving trucks, going to work at a gas station, you know, going to their job with selling cars, going to wait tables, bartenders, going to work at a federal or state job, something like that. Most people aren't sitting around getting upset online about a joke and then hosting people on their TV shows that actually have violence convictions to their name, and then they do not address it. If they're going to address this type of stuff, Ryan Clark needs to address this on all his shows on ESPN as well. Hope you guys have a great day. Take care. You watch On Air with Nick Driver podcast here on YouTube. You guys be safe.